Battles for Chattanooga in November 1863, the Union forces routed the rebels at Lookout Mountain and Missionary Ridge. We visited Lookout Mountain. And that's Lookout Mountain up there. And from up there, they've got good view of troops coming around down here. We are heading up Lookout Mountain, and it is quite steep. This is Ruby Falls. I think it's a hotel and restaurant. Nicely landscaped. We climb up Lookout Mountain. We see some really nice homes that have stupendous views. This is a small one, modern. Oh, yeah. Work to do in their backyard. It's a steep cliff. Well, this is the top of the funicular. Oh, now we got a view.
Here we are at the Civil War battlefield. Why does the Army Corps of Engineers have anything to do with this? Established 1890, dedicated in 1895. Well, Point Park will come in about 1895, in that area there, 1898. And when the military parks are first established, the War Department actually runs the military parks, which is the DOD today. But now it doesn't get turned over to the National Park Service until 1933. But they were wanting to make some type of a gate here, you know, and make it a little bit impressive. So I don't think the Army Corps of Engineers had a lot to do there that part of the year. So they thought, well, let's get them to make a gate, and they wanted to make it as part of their insignia. So this is the world's largest representation of the Army Corps of Engineers insignia. It, along with the gate, goes all the way down here to the western edge. So if you're wondering how that got here, why it got here, that's the reason why.
It's pretty obvious why this is called Lookout Mountain.
All right, guys, if y'all come on up, I'll give you a little information here. It's relatively clear today. There is a little bit of haze already building up, but if you look over here to the east here, and you look hard, you'll see the outline of the Blue Ridge Mountains over there. Up in this direction here, if it was a little bit more clear, you could see a little saddle in the mountain, and then you would be able to see another mountain back behind it, back in that gap there. If we could see that today, I'd tell you that you'd be looking at the Smoky Mountains in North Carolina. But you would actually see a couple steam plumes coming up. What you're seeing is that is the Watts Bar nuclear plant just outside of Knoxville. So you would be looking at a little town. It was about a mile square, had 2,500 people living in it and around it. But President Lincoln said that taking Chattanooga was as important as taking Richmond. If you're going to move troops and supplies fast in 1863, how are you going to do it?
By train.
Rail. Chattanooga is actually known at the time as the gateway to the Deep South. Under General William Stark Rosecrans, that's the Union Army. The Confederate Army, the Army of Tennessee under General Braxton Bragg. Now these two armies are not strangers to one another because they had already been in a major fight the last couple of days of 62 and the first day of 63 at a little bit south of Nashville. But it will take, after that battle though, that is actually a Union victory. From that point, Bragg will come on in here to Chattanooga and he'll be waiting on Rosecrans. Yeah, you know, a lot of people laugh, you know, and you think, well, why does it take him? I think anybody here could walk from Murfreesboro to here in 6 months. Rosecrans to get here, what is he doing sitting up there? What does it have to do with food? Well, actually what Rosecrans did, he stalled out long enough. Now, of course, these armies don't fight during the winter time, but he stalled out even the next spring and basically waited until the corn and the wheat ripened before he moved towards Chattanooga because he has to feed that army. You're 1,000 pounds of food per day just to feed the animals. Wow. Not including the soldier. Time for Chattanooga or Chickamauga. So to the south, if I put some people down here, I could swing in on him and stop him. And that's exactly what Bragg did. He left Chattanooga, but he doesn't go to Atlanta. He only goes down here about 25 or 30 miles to the south to a place that we call in this neck of the woods Lafayette, Georgia. Reading pretty quickly about all this insubordination, basically, that's going on inside the ranks of the Army of Tennessee. Bragg wants to fight that major battle there, but those guys under Bragg, Hill, Hinman, Buckner, they don't think this is a very good idea. In the fields and mostly forests. And after that 3 days of fighting, there will be 34,000 casualties produced there. You know, we just can't imagine that. Down the ridge, across the valley floor here, around the tip end of Lookout Mountain, and back up along the west side of the bend here, we can't see because of the trees. Basically, he puts a horseshoe around Chattanooga. You see the big complex over there at the base of the ridge? That's Memorial Hospital. Fort Knob is right in that area there. That's November the 23rd. The 24th is the Battle of Lookout Mountain. Where we're standing here right now, no fighting took place. All the fighting on the mountain took place on the slope of the mountain here, around the end. The hardest fighting, they said, took place right here directly below us at the Craven's house. But it also will be a Union victory.
Soldiers were coming up this cliff. Looks worse than Pont de Hoc in Normandy. Just amazing that any man could climb up that. Monuments made out of Tennessee marble and Massachusetts granite. This is called Reconciliation, and up on the top is a Union soldier and a Confederate soldier. They're shaking hands further, and it's obvious they are shaking hands. This is Garrett's Alabama battery, and he can shoot those guns a long ways. This is November of 1863, and it was getting cold up here, and they were getting hungry, but they did have the high ground. There's another battery. This one's facing, I don't know, more west, and the other one was more north. Battles here, the Battle of Chickamauga and Chattanooga, 1863. Our guide says this was the final blow at the Confederacy. It kept going for a couple more years, however.
Demonstration immediately prior to the Battle of Lookout Mountain. Witnessing this massing of troops, a Confederate soldier reported,
"Just at dawn, I saw several batteries being moved out near the creek, as if threatening to attempt a crossing in our front. The enemy moved up the creek and crossed at its source. Our whole brigade only numbered about 1,500 men, while the whole of Hooker's Corps was rapidly advancing upon us.
Is really steep. But of course in 1863 there was no kudzu covering everything, and I'm sure the foliage was mostly gone. That just up the hill from here is where the battle started. Here's some of the Chattanooga skyline. guys.